Hi, well, welcome to A Million Stories third edition. We're really excited today because we're meeting with Richard, who is going to be telling us about his new restaurant, which is called Boi Boi, here in Amsterdam on the Dappermarkt. Richard's not alone. He also has a partner, Kai, who's in the kitchen, and he's going to be joining us later. But for the meantime, hi, welcome, Richard.
Hi. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too. When I came into your restaurant, I was blown away. I really, really like the way you've done the artwork on the floors. Let's start with that maybe. What was the inspiration for this funky style Thai restaurant?
The inspiration. I'll just tell you, what it is. Yeah, I like to travel a lot. I like to travel to Japan. I like to travel to LA. And that's where I got the idea from, to get just everything has to be on one layer, everybody has to sit high. Yeah. So if people come and stand next to you, then everybody's still leveled. And the inspiration to get everything dark comes from a restaurant in Berlin. Yeah.
Which one?
The Long March Canteen. It's really funky. It's even darker than here, so we still are pretty light. And then of course one of my icons is Keith Haring.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Keith Haring.
Yeah.
Keith Haring.
The artist.
Nice. Yeah. And he's no longer with us, but I think he has had a lot of good inspiration and nice vibes. And he used to work a lot with graphics, with lines. Yeah. And he has done some cars, and he also did some floors, like what we did here. And I have a very good friend who is a really nice artist. He's really funky. He's also a DJ. He's a DJ of cassette tapes, so he DJs by cassette tapes, very analog. Yeah, so I like that. And he's a nice artist, so he has his nice graphs. He makes it on our windows, so people can see what we're doing. We change it every now and then. But I also asked him to do this in his style, and then I trust him a lot. So he knew what I wanted. I gave him the patterns, Japanese patterns, Korean patterns, and that's what we did. Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty inspiring.
Because there's also something, I was afraid of something, something I don't like myself, and that's like when I go to a normal Chinese or Thai restaurant, it often feels very, how do you call that? Like it's
dowdy.
Formula. Yeah. And then it's like a restaurant. You have to come in, you've got like these swans of handkerchiefs waiting for you. I don't know what they're doing. But it feels like not so comfortable to me. So, and I wanted to stay away from that. So I wanted to be more like the funky side of Asia. That's the idea. Yeah.
Cool. So I understand that you don't just have a restaurant. You also have a dog. And what's the dog's name?
Sake.
How appropriate.
Yeah.
Do you serve sake in the restaurant? Because that's obviously Chinese.
We have sake, but not a lot of people drink it, so I only use it in cocktails if they order it,
Okay, cool. Sake is walking around here. He's literally a part of the big squiggles and shapes on the floor. Yeah. But you also have a day job, don't you?
Yeah.
So tell us about the mix between owning a restaurant and having a day job.
It's chaotic. And the day job I do is like I have, we call it the on-agency, but it's more like an agency, but we like to think the other way around. Mm-hmm. So we help brands, fashion brands, we do something for healthcare. And what we do is we help them with communities and how to reach out to people. Okay. Or what we rather like to say is like that they know where their audience or their people are, and that they become part of that circle.
Can you give me an example? Is this your own business?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have two businesses.
Yeah.
So now elaborating, because we were also here. Well, I mean, this is basically about you. I mean, this is what it's about. It's tapping into people who are tapping into their creative truth. Yeah. So, tell us more about the other business briefly, and then we'll come back to Boi Boi.
Yeah. So the other business is based on community thinking. Before that business, I also did other things in the internet, like startup stuff, and it's always around peer-to-peer stuff and things like that. So it's always community. And that's also why we wanted to be here. This is a market, the real street market, and the oldest of Amsterdam.
So really what you're doing is you're expressing so much creativity from within you, and where does that come from?
Whoa, I never thought about that. I really don't know.
Are your parents creative? Do they express their creativity in a commercial sense?
My mother is a super communist, so I don't think she's very creative.
A super?
Communist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we are. She doesn't understand entrepreneurs, and she doesn't understand commercial things. So she has a hard time with this. But my family, so it's very interesting because we talked about it. My sister is also an entrepreneur, and my parents are totally non-entrepreneurs. You know, they're more socialist communists, and their parents were very entrepreneurial. So yeah, half my family moved to Australia, and they have nice businesses there. And so my grandparents, they had really nice businesses, either in fashion and construction work and all that kind of stuff. So they were really doing a lot of things. So maybe it's a jumping generation and leaping one. I don't know. I don't have children, but yeah.
Well, that is interesting. I guess it wasn't something that your mom felt she needed to teach you, because for her it was just natural that her parents had a company, but it wasn't what she wanted. So
yeah, maybe that's it. So maybe that's a nice like almost Hegel, like up and down, you know. And she was maybe revolting. She's also from the 60s, of course, so she was a hippie, and they were revolting against businessmen and stuff like that. And then we are revolting again against that idea, and we want to be a businessman. I don't know, but what I do know is when I was young, I always did things in the neighborhood when I was a really small child. So I did performances, I sold tickets, I did like magician show, and I did dance for people. And I cannot imagine I would do that again, but that was normal for me. And I also made like earrings when I was a little kid, and I just went to sit in my little village where I'm from, and then I just sat on the ground and sold them. I don't know, for 2 guilders or something. And women loved it, you know. They wanted to buy the earrings. The little cute boy was selling it. But I just liked to make it, and then I was happy if people liked it. So
of course.
that's my natural.
Totally creative. But I mean, we're all creative. All human beings are creative. Absolutely.
Because like now you're talking about this, you know, what it looks like. But I think the real creativity and why people will come back is from Kai, my friend, and he's a really good cook. He's been working here for 10 years in a really nice Thai restaurant, famous one.
There's sake. If anyone heard that bark.
Yeah, maybe he smells the food. It's too spicy for him though. But but he's very creative. He knows the traditional way of cooking, but he wants to try out new things, and that he couldn't do in the old restaurant. And here he can do it. He determines what's being done, you know. So, and I help him to present it and to push him to just do it. Don't think it's strange, just do it. You know, that's a good thing.
So what came first? You wanting a Thai restaurant, or you meeting your Thai partner?
I've never been in Thailand, you know. I've been a lot in Japan. I've never been in Thailand. It was I first met him, and he had this big desire of having a restaurant and his own restaurant, and he tried it a couple of times and it never worked. He didn't get the support, and it's hard when you're not really Dutch, you know, to get the support from banks and stuff. And I like to make something that's a little bit different and not the traditional, you know. So yeah.
And I think what it also shows, I mean, it's the same thing with our project. When myself and Joao met each other, things came together suddenly. It was a dream that I'd been working on for a long time, and you know, it's interesting because it links into your word community. When people come together and they work together, they can take from each other's strengths, and then bam, you have a business.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I also have this I have one passion, as not a lot of people know about it, but it's astrology. I do a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So our planned opening was the 20th of March. Yeah, that was an important day because then the sun, etc. But it didn't work out. We were 4 months late. So now we did it on 24/7. That was the opening date.
Okay.
That was more numerology, but it was funny. And but the thing is, in astrology, you have combinations, of course, of people. So now how we talk to each other will be different than when I talk to the cameraman or when I talk to Kai. Sure. So and that's different every time. So when you put people together, you have new combinations. And I think what you see here is the combination of me and Kai. And if I would do it with another Thai cook or I don't know, then it will be totally different again.
And I think a very key ingredient in that is love.
Yeah, it's all love. Food is love. that's it.
Food is love. Doing something you love, working with someone is not always easy. Working with someone that you love, but it brings love.
Yeah. Well, the key ingredient is like I do not mess around in the kitchen.
You stay out.
There was only one thing. Like the first day we were open, some people came and they said like, I think your satay sauce is a little bit not so spicy. And I heard it from 3 people that day, and they expected more spicy. And then so I went to Kai and I said, Kai, people said like they think it's a little bit weak. It can be more spicy. And he said like, but it's for children. If children want it, then it shouldn't be spicy. I said, okay, I don't want to interfere, but please, just. But I shouldn't touch that part. I just try to give subtle hints,
Yeah.
But if he's gonna say like, oh, let's paint all the walls green, then
you tell him to back off.
Yeah,
Get back in your kitchen.
Yeah. Start cooking.
Well, we're going to meet Ty a little bit later on. He's going to come join us. Oh, Ty, sorry, we're in a Thai restaurant. I'm saying Ty, not Kai.
It's not easy.
And I haven't even had sake yet. Anyway, so what are the challenges that you face? Because let's face it, business is always awesome from the outside, and people have so much admiration for entrepreneurs and business owners. But let's talk about some of the challenges that you guys have had.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenges. Challenge number 1 was finance, and it came together with finding a right location.
Let's go back to finance. Talk to us about that.
Euros.
Money.
Well, the thing is like my personality, so everything I've done as an entrepreneur, all the money I ever earned, I immediately invested it in things. So new ideas, try out new stuff, and but I never invested in let's have a house on Ibiza and have a boat in I don't know where. It's like, it's not interesting because I don't even have the time to go there, That's not how my clock ticks.
Well, I don't think it's just about the fact that you don't have the time. I think it's just not on your hit list.
No.
No.
Because
you are doing everything you want. So it's about what this is what you want. You don't want a house in Ibiza.
Yeah, and it's true. Yeah. So what I like to do is create things, and hope they work, and some fail. We're early days here, So far it's a success, but my God.
But so how did you get the money? Someone who's wanting to start their own restaurant, they're an amazing cook. They've got someone who's commercial, but now maybe what advice would you give them based on what you guys have gone through?
First, always start with shoestring budget. I've seen some friends who started companies and they made loans and they tried to get a lot of money just to invest in the place. And even though this looks maybe kind of spectacular, but it's done in a really smart way. Yeah. So I've been. So I told you about astrology. So I'm a boar, like a.
Received loud and clear.
So that's me, and so that we have a nose, for travels. We know where the travels are. So that's how I work, And I also know a lot of people who start a business and they just have a lot of money because they want to have that couch and the wall has to be done like this and these lights I want, and it's like tang, tang, tang. I haven't sold anything.
In other words, keep it simple. Go budget on your tables, budget on your chairs, get some paint. Look, it might not be the same funky style.
Be creative. And so that's it. And the money comes from what I have left and what my company had left, my agency has. Yeah. So that's how we did it.
So I think now would be a good time anyway to bring Kai in to have a chat with him. Well, welcome, Kai. We had a little bit of a conversation about you, so I know a few things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're all really not so good. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm going to start by, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And I'm very proud that you came here today, and I'm proud of this restaurant. So contribute everything happen like this.
Well, when I was just saying to Richard, when I walked into the restaurant, I really I was really taken aback by the way you guys have presented this. It's funky, it's cool, you know, it's fresh, it's awesome, and it's exactly what you were saying. It's so nice to come to a Thai restaurant where you feel like, oh, you can put on your high heels and your sexy clothes and you know have a good Thai meal. But let's maybe start at the beginning. How did you guys meet each other?
We met in the crowd.
Sorry, where?
In the club.
In the club.
Okay, yeah.
And that night we are both drunk.
That's how the sake came
Yeah.
in.
and then we started talking, and then he just came to me, and then okay, we can have a talk, and then he give him 1 point. That's it.
Keeping? Keeping what? 1?
I got 1 point, and I got more and more points the more drinks I bought him.
Aha, I see. And now, so many points later, and you own a restaurant together.
Yes. And now he get many points. Yeah.
So let's talk about him getting many points, because I understand that you've been in the food business for a long time. You've been working in other restaurants. So I'm going to taste your cooking a little bit later, but I know that your cooking's really good. And you've been wanting to open a restaurant, but it was always difficult. You did try, didn't you, before?
I used to work in restaurant for 10 years, and but I always think in my mind, maybe one day I'm going to make it, and I want to make something different. So we try to do like a Thai, we do Thai, and we try to do something different, and everything. How to say creative?
Creative.
Yeah, creative. Yeah, and yeah. Something new.
But I think
keep everything fresh on the food.
but I think also what happened is with you two meeting each other, that Richard has the commercial and the business background, and you have the creative cooking background.
Yeah. So I think we're passing together.
You're working well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, what is the most important thing for you when you're working in the kitchen?
Most important. What does it mean? Most important?
Belangrijkste. Wat vind je belangrijk voor koken?
I try to do everything fresh, and I try to do to make something people. Oh, this one. If not good, then I not sell. Oh, finished is finished.
So for you, it's not just about making money; it's about.
He wants to surprise people.
Okay.
It's not just about money. It's not good. I don't want to sell it. So.
And every dish that you put on the plate comes from the heart.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome, because that's where you can tell the difference between different restaurants, is if there's love on the plate or if there's
Broodje kaas.
a broodje kaas, a bread with cheese. Well, I think, I know that you were really busy, so we were stealing you for just a few minutes. But if I can ask you to maybe tell other people who are also chefs and also want to open up their own restaurant, what advice would you give them?
What do you know? Is, just do everything the best and try to make something new, and just keep going on and believe that you can do. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kai.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think on closing, what we discussed while we were waiting for Kai to join us is that I was really impressed by your diversity of creativity, and that you express it, that you do actually translate that into your everyday life. Because so many people everyone's creative, and so many people have this want to do something creative. And you were saying as a boy, you used to make earrings and sell things, and that came naturally to you. And that does to a lot of people when they're kids, but then they grow older and suddenly they stop. Like, why is it that you didn't stop, and why do you think other people do stop?
Why I didn't stop? Well, I think most important is I believe that people are pretty much trained to be sheep, to be in a hurdle, And once you're in a hurdle, you cannot do anything. You just have to follow all the others. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people, at least in the Western world. You know, they're all being trained to be in a certain direction. And as you know, well, Kai and me, of course, we're gay. When I was young, I didn't know that. But if you're gay, you feel already like you're not part of the hurdle. So
Awesome. So you already had the get out ticket of being a part of the herd of sheep.
yeah, that's true. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe that helped. But I think people should be trained and pushed more to really do their things and do what they were not expected to do, you know. And I think parents should also, because it starts really with children, parents really have to believe that their children will always be well off if they can just follow their passion or do what they want to do, you know, even if parents don't understand it. And that's very important, that parents respect the children, understand that they will probably have a different life than they have, you know. But that's hard for parents, you know, because a child is not a property. But for a lot of parents, it is a big ego thing, and it looks like a property, you know. And it always shocked me. When I was really small, you know, I know that all these old, mainly ladies, came to me and they punched me in the cheek. It's like, oh, you look so like your mom. You have the eyes of your father. And I was always like, no, I'm me, you know. And it's like, but a lot of parents take pride out of that, you know, and they think that's really cool. But I think like, no, let the child be himself, you know.
I might be one of those parents.
Yeah. No,
my child doesn't look anything like me.
Because there's also negative motivation that can be good, you know. When I was really young, you know, I'm from a soccer family, so everybody plays soccer. Even my mom plays soccer. Yeah, so and I was always with the ladies, going to all the soccer matches. And my father did it, but being with the ladies was nicer, you know, was easier, and they were friendlier. And probably I felt more comfortable there, I don't know. And it was in the 70s, it was normal. I was just sitting there, you know, in the dressing room, and all the women, they were naked, you know, and there was no Brazilian. For me, that was totally normal. So I could just look around there, I felt very natural. But I did not want to play soccer myself. When I was really small, I always wanted to be a dancer, and I wanted to do ballet and things like that, you know. And my parents really didn't want that. They wanted me to play soccer, you know. And that's maybe where the first friction comes, you know.
But then that just shows that your parents didn't support you, and here you are.
Yeah. Because maybe I had to push harder.
Here you are, totally expressing yourself, whereas other people do what
the parents want.
And they don't seem to be able to express themselves later on.
Yeah. So I think that there's always good parents, you know, behind it. So the easiest thing is to have parents who support the children and believe that whatever the children want to do, even if
But your parents didn't support you.
No. So, but my personality is therefore that I will always push against what is normal. Yeah.
So you're busy rebelling. That's what this is about. Exactly. I just see the word rebel.
Yeah. But it can be negative because sometimes when we have discussions, and maybe you can see my eyes, like maybe someone even agree with people that I like to push down and be rebelling, you know, if everybody agrees, and I want to see the other side. So that's more a challenging thing.
But that's what it often takes to be an entrepreneur, is to break barriers.
Yeah. True.
Well, I think we're gonna end off there. I want a monkey bowl, and we're gonna say thank you. Yeah, really interesting speaking to you.
Okay, nice talking to you. Good questions. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.